that they sent the police. Somebody sent the police to his house to do a wellness check.
The talk show where we're kicking it and having fun on inspirational radio. We're the talk show, kicking it and having fun. So turn your radio up.
We got a special show for y'all tonight. If you've been following with us or hanging with us for the last couple of weeks, you know, we've been talking about relationships. We first started off with talking about relationships with our relationship with God, and building on that. And I think the last show, we kind of ended with that. We kind of, summed up with that. But in between that, we talked a lot about, we also talked about the relationship between us as brothers and sisters in Christ, as humans, as, people who are tasked to go out and make disciples, and what that looks like, and some of the effective ways of doing that, some of the things that might cause us to struggle with that. In that conversation, I know we talked about Morant last week. He, if you didn't catch the show, you definitely go back and take a look and listen to that. But he's been in the news for some negative things over the last couple of months, and so we wanted to just have some conversation, and with that, I think it kind of led into us being able to talk about relationship and how strong relationship can potentially help out situations like that, or negatively affect us. So, recently though, I think it was yesterday, there was a scare that, some people were thinking that the job was sending out some cryptic messages. He sent out a picture of his father, and I think he sent out a picture of his mother, and I know he sent out a picture of his daughter, and then he sent out a picture of himself, and then just put "by," like BYE, in like big letters. And so it had the internet up in a little roar, and so much so that they sent the police. Somebody sent the police to his house to do a wellness check. And so, I really feel like, as we discussed last week, that, he's going through some things. He's actually, struggling with some of the life issues of, being a person that maybe grew up in his neighborhood, or, got different things, and you put a whole bunch of, money in his hand, and fame and popularity, on his shoulders, what that really looks like. Definitely praying for him. I think when they did the wellness check, he was saying, it wasn't that, he's just going to be getting off of, I guess, Instagram for a while. But it was kind of suspect.
Now you're smart.
Say that again?
Go ahead. I was just saying, now you're smart.
Now you're smart, right? I would have threw Instagram away, like
after the first time. Listen, you can have all the guns you want, Morant. You can have all the guns you want. Just keep it off social media. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, once it's out there, and you ain't gonna be able to take it back. And they position and everything. They done gave you all this money. You theirs. They own you.
Everybody got cameras now, Dion, though. You can't be out in the club still flashing guns. Somebody gonna get a video.
He was in the car.
Yeah, and I know, and it was his boy. It wasn't even his Instagram name.
That's the truth.
That's my point. It's just, you just gotta be careful with it, like all together. Like, I'm sure you make enough money to where if you really need to carry some guns, you can pay some security to carry it for you, you know?
Hey, don't play with me.
That's what I would do, you know? But, you know, if you want to hear more about our thoughts on the Ja Morant situation, which I know it led to a little bit of politics, because, you know, on one hand, we had this discussion about Ja Morant waving guns around, but you can do a quick Google search and find a whole bunch of politicians who support the NRA wielding weapons on Instagram and other places. And so,
wielding weapons, okay.
But, hey, you like that?
Yeah.
Wielding weapons.
Yeah. That sounded very newsy of you. That's very newsy.
Newsy.
Weapons. The assailant was wielding weapons in the shopping mall.
So definitely our prayers go out to Ja.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been a young man. He's 23 years old. And that's tough. All that position, fame, money, issue, and that's a lot because I think they built different nowadays. You know, back in the day it was a little bit rougher. You know, we had that rough home training and stuff, and you know, just different methods of discipline, different methods of communicating with your children and building them foundations. I think it's a lot different anymore than it used to be. I'm not saying it's all bad. I just think it's different. And I think sometimes the young people, you get thrust into something so fast, and sometimes you may not have the foundation for it. You know, the mental stability, the wherewithal to know when to fold them and when to hold them. You know, like that old song, you got to know when to hold them. You got, you know, and it's tough. But you live and learn, though. At 23, he's a young man. So hopefully, what I'm hoping for him is that at 23, that the opportunity still stays with him, because he looked like he could have a long career. But you know, people distance themselves and start. We've seen in the past, you get some superstars and nobody want to touch you because everything that come with you. Hopefully, this will blow over with him getting rid of his Instagram and just doing what he got to do. So I'm hoping he'll have a long career. Like honestly, he seemed like a good-hearted young man.
That's the PG version, y'all, of what Lasagna actually said in the green room. So I'm gonna give y'all the real.
Sheldon, be ready to cut this piece out. Just be ready.
No, we got to give these people the real deal, okay? We said that these kids don't really get they butts whooped anymore, okay? They don't get their butts whooped anymore, and that's the problem. Okay, you need to go back to the old school and start whooping some tail and start beating their butts and the brakes off of them. And I'm telling you, things will be a lot more different in society. We need to beat the brakes off these kids.
Sheldon, please cut this out. Now, I will say this, though, Sheldon. If you're going to use capital punishment, you got to have grace and love, too. You can't just be beating and don't have no foundation of God. Give them the word and the belt. If you got to give them both. But if you do too much discipline without no grace, you're going to have a tyrant on your hands. You're not going to have nobody that's going to really respect you. But you got to have the word, you got to have love, and then if you're going to use capital punishment, I think the capital punishment should be a last resort. But you got to get that foundation of the word in there, though. You got to have God as a foundation. Because if you don't, all the beating in the world is not going to make you better. Matter of fact, it'll make you worse because it'll make you hard-hearted. It'll make your heart stiffen because, you know, you're beating them without the grace and without the love. So I'm going to say that.
Capital punishment or corporal punishment?
Corporal? Yeah, I wanted to kill.
I was trying to see. I didn't know. I was trying to figure it out. Because capital punishment is what the government give you. That's what they
you don't want to kill them.
When they charge you.
And just a side note, right? The trauma with that begins when I don't know if y'all had parents like this, you know, but when you have to go outside and pick your own switch.
One time.
What? Not switches.
So they can pick.
Got braided. She braided them joints. I'm talking about, you ever seen somebody sit up for 30 minutes and braid 3 switches together to whoop you?
No, I didn't get that one, but I heard about it.
I didn't get that one either.
Strip you down to your skivvies and just beat the absolute brakes off you?
Now, my mom didn't have no patience for no switches and going to get them. We got one switch whooping. It take too long to go find a switch. It's like whatever's close by. It's no waiting. You know, I got to get this done while it's on my mind.
What's on your mind?
Yeah, that's right. What's beside me? Oh, spatula, boom, boom, boom. That's your weapon. You know, what you got to shoot? Okay, that's your weapon. You can't be waiting on switches and going picking and stuff. She had that instant, you know, that springboard effect. But bam, you show out, boom, we got a solution, immediate solution.
The good news for me is I think I had five spankings in my life. I remember every last one of them though.
Oh, Shep was a good kid.
Oh yeah, he was great.
I got 5 of them. I wouldn't say that, but I can tell you this.
Shep is Jesus' little cousin.
I can remember every last one of them though. But you know, I was I don't know. Maybe I was a little bit more sensitive because, like, if I disappointed my mom, that would be enough to
hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, that was.
I was like that with my dad.
Look at little Shell.
If we didn't want to hurt our dad's feelings, boy, we stay out of trouble. So I feel you, Sheldon. We was like that with our little daddy. It was like, man, dad hurt. Oh man, we in trouble. Like, man, you hurt his feelings.
Yeah, I didn't want to disappoint her, so I got in trouble. Probably more needed to be. So
I like that. Good answer.
But John, you know, I don't know if he'll ever get an opportunity to listen to this, but you know, we're definitely praying for you. We're praying for people like you. Like, again, you know, I know we're talking about Ja from a standpoint of his popularity and he's a superstar, but he represents a lot of people out there that, you know, may not be on his same platform, but, you know, dealing with, you know, stresses of life and dealing with, you know, different things, and they, you know, they're not handling it well. You know, I remember a couple of months ago, the young lady who was like I can't think of her name, but she went to HBCU. She was a, you know, pretty popular dancer. Everybody thought she was good. She, you know, took her own life, you know? So, you know, you never know what the pressures of life and you know, pressures of things are doing things. And we're laughing about, you know, how we were raised to be a little tougher. Then I think this generation, you know, this is kind of like a timeout generation, you know, timeout, you know, there's a little less pressure on them, I think. You know, with that in mind, I would say even more, it's important to kind of really lean on God so he can really show you who you are, show you your purpose, show you are bigger than your season. Like, you live life long enough, you're going to go through, you know, tough times. You're gonna go through really great times. All you need to know is you're gonna go through it. You know, get out the other side, no matter what. You know, if you don't give up. And so, definitely want to encourage, you know, people. I know you said this on the last show, Lasagna, to the, you know, standpoint of, you know, maybe you don't get the opportunity to fix all of this, like, you know, now, but, you know, get the consequences, learn from it, and, you know, hopefully grow from it and hopefully apply it to other things in your life, you know, and gain the wisdom from it. Another current event thing that happened, we all were talking about this yesterday. Tina Turner passed. I believe she was 83 years old.